After another really bad race by Liam Lawson, the driver from New Zealand is now in big trouble and might get replaced by Yuki Tsunoda as soon as the next race in Japan. The Austrian team has said publicly that they're talking about possibly switching drivers. And it looks like we might see the shortest time ever that someone drove for Red Bull. With this happening, can we finally see Tsunoda in the Red Bull car? And if that happens, how can he show that he deserves to stay there for a long time? Liam Lawson's future is going to be what everyone talks about in the next few days, and to make things even worse for him, those talks might not last very long. There are worries that he might get replaced as early as Japan, which is the next race in 2 weeks. The team is now having an emergency meeting in Milton Keynes about how Verstappen and Lawson are doing and how they can make the gap between them smaller. This is something that Helmut Marko has talked about. He said, "This week there is a meeting in Milton Keynes to talk about when and how we can close the gap. Until then, it's about getting as many points as possible. We are worried, but it's not like we are giving up." There's no doubt that Lawson has let down the Formula One world way more than anyone expected. Even though nobody thought he could challenge Verstappen for the #1 spot on the team, we expected him to be close to the 4-time world champion. Right now, it seems like Lawson might be an even worse choice compared to Perez, but that's still something that needs more time to figure out. Unfortunately for Lawson, he doesn't really have much of that time. He admitted that this problem with time is his biggest enemy when it comes to staying at Red Bull and proving that he can be a good driver. When Marko heard Lawson say this, he said that the New Zealand driver is right, so a swap could happen very soon because Red Bull might feel like they've seen enough from these 2 races. One of those races was a sprint race where Tsunoda got 3 important points for Racing Bulls. If it wasn't for the terrible strategy that his team made for both of his races, he would probably be in the top 10 drivers right now. This makes Lawson's performance in the top team look even worse. A very good question was asked to Christian Horner about Liam Lawson not being what the team thought would be a good replacement for Perez. It seems like the team boss of Red Bull had trouble finding words when Ted Kravitz from Sky F1 asked him the hard question. Ted asked Horner directly, "But you need Lawson to score points for the Constructors' Championship. You didn't get rid of Perez for this, did you? I mean, the point was to replace Perez with a faster driver, and he is just not a faster driver." Horner's answer was, "As I said, we'll have a good look at it and we'll do what we can tomorrow." When it comes to Formula One, there is one thing that nobody can hide: performance. Liam Lawson might have seemed like the better choice for Red Bull because of the potential he hadn't shown yet. But in the end, they have Racing Bulls for situations like this. Even though Tsunoda did seem like a very wild driver many times, getting angry on the radio and making silly mistakes, we haven't seen that version of him very often lately. This is why Marko has praised how the Japanese driver is performing, saying he is far away from the driver he used to be. This suggests even more that a move towards switching drivers could happen very soon. Talking more about Tsunoda's good form, Marko said, "Yuki changed his management and has been performing absolutely perfectly so far. He is in the best form of his life and has made another huge jump this year. Yuki is a different Yuki from the years before. He is more grown up. It took a while, but now it looks like it's working." What doesn't help Lawson in this whole situation is how the car behaves. The RB21 is a real monster that needs a lot of control, but when I say this, I don't mean it in a good way. As we saw with Max, he is struggling to work well with the car. Even though he managed to finish ahead of both Ferrari drivers during the race, he was still behind both McLaren's and Mercedes, which is kind of unusual for him, but we do know that Red Bull is now far away from its best days, and Verstappen's comments about the RB21 only show that even more. However, the 4-time world champion has also talked about the car being too hard to drive for Lawson and how his current teammate might be much better in the Racing Bulls car. Talking about this, Max said, "I mean, the Racing Bulls drivers are doing very well. They are very close to me. Maybe that also says something. Are we the 4th fastest team? That is how it feels to me. I think Liam Lawson would go faster in the Racing Bulls car. Our car is extremely difficult. If you look at the difference, Between the two drivers on the other teams, they are all closer together. The Racing Bulls car is easier to drive than ours. I also noticed that when I talked to Liam last year, I didn't think the difference between him and Tsunoda was that big. Otherwise, the team wouldn't make the choice to put him in a Red Bull. Either. It's never a good sign to have your teammate publicly talking about how you're going to be better in a team that has a much worse car compared to what you're driving right now. But that's the reality that Lawson needs to face sooner rather than later, even though he did show a lot of potential in 2023 and 2024, especially with his 9th place finish in Singapore in 2023. It's not enough to be promoted as the second driver. In Red Bull, his statements where he says he is not here to make friends but to win races are now working against him quickly. So will this be enough for Red Bull to finally make the decision and bring Tsunoda in as early as Japan? That was a question that was asked directly to the Racing Bulls driver, and he answered without hesitation that it's something he is always ready for, even if it happens at the next race. When asked the question, Tsunoda said, "Yeah, why not? I'm always ready in Japan. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the car is faster." The interesting part is that he was pulled away from the microphone by the PR employee at Racing Bulls right away. This suggests that this is a sensitive topic and they don't want to talk about it in front of the whole world. This is exactly why. The secret meeting in Milton Keynes will take place, and it's going to be interesting to see how Red Bull will continue putting their trust into a driver who qualified 8th, 20th, and 20th in the 3 sessions so far. One of those was based on pure race speed. Having a rookie driver pass you and beat you is definitely embarrassing, especially when that rookie driver, Behrman, has gone on to score a point in China and has more points than you in the Drivers' Championship. And this is when we need to ask the real question. Is Tsunoda right when he says that the seat was given to Liam because of political reasons? Talking about this topic not long ago and sharing his desire for the Red Bull seat, Tsunoda said, "I didn't really ask why Lawson got that seat over me. I think Christian mentioned it's not about performance. From what I heard from other people, they're saying that it's not performance related. It's more like a political decision. I don't know. Maybe Christian didn't really say specifically what the reason was. I didn't care really. Whatever they say, I don't know if that is true or not, to be honest. And in the end, I just told them how I feel, how I am still motivated for next season, and that's it. Nevertheless, it's up to Red Bull to decide what they're going to do with Tsunoda and Liam right now. What matters the most is that the situation is not going to be extremely easy for Tsunoda either. Even though the Red Bull car is faster, if he cannot find a way to control it properly and make it behave the way he wants, then we might be looking at yet another swap before the season ends. So just because Red Bull are ready to promote Tsunoda and are thinking of this opportunity more seriously now than ever, it doesn't mean they have practically solved the question of the second driver in the team. With all this in mind, do you think that the situation in Red Bull will grow to a point where Tsunoda will get the promotion over Lawson? And if so, do you think that it will be a rush decision? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to check out the video that appears on your screen right now.